When I tell y'all I came downstairs and I saw a whole WWE match, like fighting physically, I have never experienced anything like that in my life, ever.
Missing, kissing you. Now I'm missing.
Hey, what's up you guys? It's Chrishon. Welcome to my channel. It's gonna be a little bit of a different type of video. Today I'm gonna be telling you guys a story. I've been wanting to make a video about this story for the longest. I've actually told this story on my live on TikTok, but I've never made a video about it, so I'm so excited to tell y'all. I named this story The Psycho Couple from Hell because I feel like it's so fitting, and you guys will figure out later in the story why that fits them so well. But without any more hesitation or rambling, let's go ahead and get right into the story time. Okay, this story takes place when I was 19, and when I was 19, I stayed with my sister in this one-bedroom apartment. So my room was like a little nook. Like, it wasn't even a room, it was like a little nook, right? So whenever I wanted to get take a phone call or just have any type of privacy or just clear my head or write music, I would walk outside and just get privacy that way. So I was outside because I was on the phone with my friend and I just wanted privacy. And while I'm on the phone with my friend, I hear a loud bang, and then I hear a woman screaming. Of course, I'm kind of like on the phone with my friend, like, should I check it out? Should I not check it out? Should I check it out? Should I not check it out? Like, what should I do? And my friend's like, go inside. Don't worry about it. But of course, I'm like, I have to figure it out. So I walk around the corner and I see this woman on the floor and she has a bunch of bags around her and she's like screaming, yelling, right? And I see this gray truck and the door is open, the passenger door is open, and then it just drives off. The passenger door was still open. So I kind of yell from where I was. I'm like, hey, like, do you need any help? And she's like, yes, and she's crying. Now, I walked up to her, and the closer I got to her, I realized that she was visibly drunk. I started picking up her bags, and I help her with her bags. I put her groceries inside her bags, and I'm like, do you need me to help you? Like, bring them to your apartment? She's like, yeah, I live on the second floor. If you can help me, that'll be awesome. Mind you guys, she sounds visibly intoxicated. So anyways, I walk up the stairs and then we get to her apartment. I bring her groceries inside her house and I drop them off and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what happened, but I'm so sorry. Here you go. And she's like, can you please just stay with me for a little bit? Like, I would love to have company. A lot just happened tonight. Do you mind staying for a little bit? Being 19-year-old me, of course, I was like, yeah, so that's fine. I have nothing else to do. I hung up the phone with my friend. I'm like, whatever, let's do it. So I sit down on her couch. She offers me a glass of wine. I'm like, no. I then ask her, like, what happened and who was that person in the truck and why did they leave you stranded? She then lets me know that that was her boyfriend at the time. But before I continue the story, I really would like to give them nicknames because that would help me address them in a way that's not like saying their real name. So I've decided on Jack and Jill. I was gonna call them Hazel and Gretel, but I'm not even gonna lie to you. In Hazel and Gretel, I don't know which one was the guy or the girl. So we're gonna just say Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill is gonna be their names. So Jill lets me know that that was her boyfriend, Jack, and so she lets me know that they argue all the time and it usually ends up like this where she's being stranded or he's kicking her out of the truck or he's yelling at her or whatever. So I'm like, wow, like, is this gonna be the boyfriend that you just wanna be with for the rest of eternity? She says, like, yeah, like, I love him, like, we just have our off moments. I'm like, okay, off moment. So like, he threw your stuff out the car, he threw you out the car, okay, boom, that off moment, right? So she then lets me know that she's renting out a room in her apartment. She has 2 bedrooms and she recently lost her job. So in my head, I'm like, yes, this is good because I was already thinking about moving out of my sister's apartment and this will be the perfect foot out the door. I'm like, yes, like, I'm like, you're a nice woman. Mind you, I just met this woman, but at the same time, I'm like thinking that we connected so much. I'm like, yes, I could stay with you and then I could have my own place essentially. Like, this is gonna be such a good opportunity. So I give her my phone number and we just continue talking for hours. The next day, we hung out again. So I come over her apartment. Mind you, she lived like right across the street from my sister's apartment because it was like walking distance. But I come over her apartment. We're just talking, vibing. I let her know that I'm an artist. She asked me to sing for her. Again, she was visibly intoxicated. Her phone starts ringing and then she lets me know that it's Jack, her boyfriend. So she picks up the phone and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of listening and I'm hearing him because I want to know what Jack sounds like because only thing I know of Jack is his car and him driving off and him like dropping her off on the floor. So I'm kind of like eavesdropping whatever she's talking to him and it's lovey-dovey, like no issue, no argument, no nothing. So I'm like, okay, like they're a couple. Jill then says, do you want to meet my new friend Chrishon? Do you want to meet him? And Jack's like, yeah, of course I want to meet him. I want to meet him, sure, why not? So she shows him me and immediately his reaction is like, oh, I didn't expect you to look like that. In my head, I'm like, damn, what is that supposed to mean? Like, do I look a mess? And so my reaction was as such. It was like, oh, like, what's that supposed to mean? He was like, no, like, you look good. I just wasn't expecting you to look, like, really good. You look really good. So I'm like, damn, thanks. Like, wow. So then he says that after he dropped her off last night, he got very drunk and he left his truck in Durham and he Ubered home. So Durham, if you're not from North Carolina, Durham's like 30 minutes away from Raleigh, and Raleigh was where I stayed at the time. So he says, I want to Uber back and get my truck. Do you guys want to come with me? Like, you guys should come. It'll be fun. So I'm like, I'm down. She said that she was down. I'm like, yeah, this is about to be fun. I don't got no other plans. At this point, I'm 19, so I'm recently an adult. I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is kind of me navigating my adulthood. So I'm like, yeah, it's all times of the night. I can just go out. Yes. Me and Jill then order our Uber and we Uber to his house. We were all gonna meet there. We get to his house and he has a big house. He has a nice house, but automatically, like, I'm just like, it just seems like the house is too big for it to be just him. I'm like, damn, like, it's just one man, one bachelor, and he's just living in this house by himself. But that was my first thought. But anyways, moving on. He had a dog. The dog was so cute. I fell in love with the dog. I ended up talking to the dog more than I was talking to them at one point. It was lit. So he orders the Uber. The Uber ends up getting there. We hop into the Uber and we are just having the time of our lives. I'm singing, we're just having a vibe. Like, we're just being really, like, energetic. We get to Durham, which was like 35-minute Uber, and we see this bar, and they're like, oh my god, we should go to this bar, we should drink. And I'm like, I'm only 19, like, I can't go into the bar. They're like, well, we'll sit outside and they won't card you. There's no way they're gonna card you with us. Like, you're not gonna get carded. They're ordering drinks. Drinks are just coming and coming and coming. I'm not drinking none of them. I'm just having fun in a sober way. Like, I'm having fun in like a energetic 19-year-old way. Like, I can just keep up, you know? Me and Jack are acting and dancing and singing. It was so fun. It was so fun. It was so fun. We ended up finally leaving and we're looking for his truck. We were looking for like an hour and a half. We couldn't find it. We finally found it. And right when we were about to get into the truck, I then realized, I'm like, wait, she's intoxicated and he's intoxicated and one of y'all about to drive, because I didn't have a license. So I'm like, so at this point, I'm crossing my fingers, crossing my toes. I'm like, oh my god, this is scary. I don't know what's gonna happen. I could get hurt. I don't even know. Like, let me just like, hope nothing happens. So when it's time for me to get into the car, I'm looking in the floor and there's like Legos and there's like coloring books and there's a bunch of kids' toys. So in my head, I'm like, okay, kid. But then I'm like, no, because he didn't talk about a kid, neither did she. Jack is driving home at this point. Jill is in the passenger seat. I'm in the back seat. We finally get to his house. And then Jack says, like, oh, I have like the surround sound system. You're gonna love it. Like, there's loud music. We can play loud music, whatever. It's gonna be like a club. I'm like, yes! So he turns on the music and then we start dancing. And then Jill is like, oh, you know what will be so fun? We should like perform a song. Like, one person pick a song. They have to get up, perform it, do like a dance routine. Like, that would be so fun. I'm like, yes, I'm Chrishon. Like, of course I wanna, yes, absolutely. So it's time for me to go, and I pick God is a Woman by Ariana Grande. And so the song comes on. Now, y'all know how the song is. It's like, you know, very slow and, you know what I'm saying, very cute. So I'm doing my little body rolls, and I'm singing. I got my little microphone as my, remote as my microphone. Jack is like laughing, Jill is laughing, and Jill says, oh my god, Jack, you gotta get up there and dance with him. That'd be so funny. Haha, you gotta get up there and dance with him. So I'm always willing and able for a duet partner, you know what I mean? So he gets up with me and he starts coming over and then we're like dancing and like I grab his shoulder and I'm like, you know what I'm saying, you love it how I move you, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a song. Me and Jack are having the time of our life. We're just laughing, we're laughing, we're laughing. Jill starts crying and she runs outside and like she's like crying. Jack follows her and they're outside. Now, mind you, I can hear everything. So Jack and Jill are literally arguing and Jill's like, I knew you liked men. I knew you liked men. I knew it. Like, she's screaming at the top of her lungs, swearing to God that he likes men. And he's swearing to God that he does not, and he was just having fun, and this was her idea. And he's like, you know what? This was so stupid. Like, this is your idea. I'm kind of just sitting there like, like, I'm just like, I don't know what to do because I'm hearing this whole debacle, but I'm trying to pretend like I don't hear it. They ended up walking back in and I'm pretending like I didn't hear nothing. I'm like, so how was everything outside? Before they were good, we ended up sitting down and after like 30 minutes or so of them, it was just awkward tension. They ended up finally, like, they were talking about something. It wasn't what they were talking about outside, but it was a problem in their relationship. And they started asking me for advice. Mind you, I'm 19 and I, at this point, had been in one maybe serious relationship. But I digress. I started helping them and I'm over here thinking I'm Dr. Phil. Like, I'm like, so what is your issue? And then what's your issue with her? And I'm really like being a therapist. They both ended up confiding in me. They were just ranting about a bunch of things that were wrong in the relationship, whatever. I ended up giving my little 2 cents and they just started crying. They both were in tears. Like, I'm so happy you listened to us. Thank you for listening to us. I feel like we finally got to talk about this together and not argue. And I feel like you helped us stay calm. You're welcome. Like, it's okay. Like, I just don't want you guys to fight or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Start hugging and then they look at me like, come here, get into the hug. I'm like, oh God, I'm always down for a hug. So I go hug them. We're in this like kind of 3-person hug. And you know, everything is like unicorns, rainbows, fairy dust and everything, you know, nice. I start getting tired. I'm like, okay, Haley, I'm about to go to bed. He's like, yeah, I have a guest room upstairs. I'm like, okay, bad. Show me to that. So I bring the little dog from earlier. I bring the little dog upstairs. So while I'm getting into the bed, about to get myself tucked in, Jack literally tucks me in and he kisses my forehead. So I made a little joke being like, good night, Dad. Like, you know, because he was like 10 years older than me. Like maybe 8, 9 years older than me. He then ended up leaving the room. I fell asleep with the dog. Then I'm abruptly woken up out of my sleep by a loud bump and screaming, get off of me, get off of me, get off. So I'm looking at the dog's looking at me, and we're looking at each other. I grab the dog, we're walking downstairs. When I walked downstairs, I saw a WWE match from hell. Like, they were like, I've never seen a couple like box like that. She was grabbing his ponytail, swinging him. He was just throwing her around. They were like going crazy. So of course I go up to him and I kind of like start pushing him away because he's a bigger man, like he's a big guy. So I'm like pushing, I'm like, please stop, like everybody just stop. So I push him into his room. I close the door and then he sits on the bed and I'm like, what the hell? I just went to sleep. What are y'all fighting about? Y'all was just happy. He looks at me and he's like, she hit me in my sleep. She woke up out of her dream and she hit me in my sleep. And I'm like, she hit you while you were sleeping? Why? He was like, because she had a dream that I cheated on her. I'm gagged. I'm like, you are lying. There's no way she just hit you because she had a dream. I said, hang on. So I go to Jill. I'm like, did you hit him in his sleep? She's like, yes, because he cheated on me in my dream and I just really feel like he really is cheating on me. Like, he's cheated on me before and I feel like he's cheating on me currently. So I'm like, wait, he cheated on you before? She's like, yes, he did it before and I had a dream that he was doing it again. So I'm like, child, my God, y'all just making me, I need a Tylenol. And he's like, I need her to get out of my house. I need her to get up out of my house. I need her to get up out of my house. I need her to get up out of my house. He's swearing he does not want her there. And so he's like, but it could just be me and you. You could stay here. And he starts getting closer and closer. So I'm like, if she leaves, I'm leaving. Like, I don't know what you thought this was, but if she leaves, I'm leaving with her. Like, she stays right beside my apartment. So if I'm leaving, yeah, we're gonna be together. Then I hear Jill screaming at the door like, oh, you want me to leave and you gonna stay with that bitch? Oh, now I'm a bitch. I'm like, wait. I'm your friend. Like, who? I'm not the aggressor. I'm not the issue. I'm not the problem. So I'm confused. So I ended up telling both of them, I'm like, listen, no one's going anywhere. I was like, y'all both are drunk as hell. Nobody's going anywhere. I was like, me and Jill are gonna go upstairs to the guest room. We're gonna sleep there. Jack, you're gonna be down here in your room. We're gonna go to bed. So me and Jill, we walk upstairs with the dog, by the way. We get into the bed and she's just crying to herself to sleep. She's just like, I hate him. She's just crying, just rocking herself in the bed. She ends up going to sleep. So then I wake up, the sun is out, and then I'm turning over to see Jill and Jill's not in the bed. So at this point I'm like, no, bro, no. I'm like, no. They about to be downstairs fighting, so I go downstairs and then I see them cooking breakfast, sausage, eggs. I'm looking around like, y'all is it? So I just played it off like if nothing happened. So I'm like, yeah, hey y'all, what y'all cooking for breakfast? What y'all doing? Jack's like, yeah, we're making some sausage, some eggs. You want some potatoes? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, make me a plate. So then I say like, oh, what's the plan for today? What y'all doing? Jack is like, oh, well, you and Jill have to go because my son's coming over. Okay, wait. When I got into the truck, all of the little kitty stuff, like I'm like, okay, he has a child. But I'm like, it's not a child with Jill. So my little nosy ass obviously was like, son. And he lets me know that he has an 8-year-old son with another woman and him and Rachel are like just like dating. They're not married or anything. He has an ex-wife that he has a baby with. And he only has his son for Sunday evening to Thursday night. So from Friday morning to Sunday evening, he has it all free. And that's when he invites Jill over because his son doesn't know about Jill. His ex-wife doesn't know about Jill. While he's telling me this, Jill got a stank face, so I know she's not very fond of this. Like she's not having the best time hearing this. We ended up finishing the breakfast, and me and Jill, we go back home. So she goes to her apartment, I go to my sister's apartment, and then the next day, we hang out. The third day of us hanging out, I go over her apartment. She tells me, she's like, yeah, I have 2 interviews to do real quick. Like, you could just make yourself at home. I have 2 interviews. So the interviewers call her. She's like, 1 second, just be quiet. So I get into the corner. I'm tucked in the corner, like hiding out of the frame. So the guy ended up telling her, okay, hang on 1 second. We're gonna move on to part 2 of your interview. And pauses the camera on the meeting. She gets up and she has a glass of wine in her hand. So I'm like, oh damn, you drinking this early? Damn. Okay, period. The guy ended up coming back to the camera and he's like, hello, 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 Jill, where are you at, Jill? She like runs back to the camera. She's like, hey, I'm here. He's like, I don't think we can move forward in this interview because we saw you drinking during the interview. We saw you drinking a glass of wine. Oh my God. I'm like, you were drinking that glass of wine the whole time, girl? She's like, yes. I just couldn't help myself. Like, I didn't know they were gonna notice. I thought they were gonna think it was water. When everything was said and done, I then started talking about the moving in situation, how much I have to pay, and also I was like, can we put it in writing? Everyone at the time kept telling me to put it in writing. They were like, write it out, because that will help you out in the future. So I was like, okay, when am I gonna be able to move in? How much am I gonna have to pay? And also, can we put it in writing on what I gotta pay and when I gotta pay it? She's like, I'm thinking of $700 a month, maybe like $350 every 2 weeks if that's better for you. I'm like, yes, that's perfect. Like, let's just put that in writing, you know, that's fine. She's like, okay, I will. I have this app that can like make up contracts and leases. So I'm gonna just go ahead and draft that tonight. I ended up going to Virginia that next week for a whole week. While I was there, I'm like checking up, like, hey, do you have the lease yet? Do you have the lease yet? Do you have the lease yet? Did you make it up yet? Did you make it up yet? Hello, hello, hello. She's not answering me. I'm calling her. She's not answering me. No, like radio silence. She finally texted me back, but what she said was that I was harassing her, that she's getting stressed out, and then this is a gag. She then says that she chose someone else to live there and stay with her anyways. Now I forgot to tell y'all that same day of the interviews, I went ahead and sent her $700. I went ahead and sent her that $700. So in my head, I'm like, am I gonna get my money back? What do you mean you chose someone else? She responds back to me and she's like, well, like she was willing to pay more. So in my head, I'm like, what do you mean willing to pay more? You told me $700 and I sent you that day. So I'm like, if you wanted more money, you could have just told me that you wanted to charge me more and I would have just sent you more. So when I tell y'all I cursed her, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was not the bigger person. I was like, that's why your boyfriend says you're crazy as hell. That's why you ain't going nowhere. You ain't gonna get no job. I went off. Like, I was like, you know what? F you. Oh my God. And to this day, I have never received that money back at all. And it's not even about the money, but it's just the principle. Like, how are you gonna take money from me? And you didn't even get, and all I was nothing but accepting, was nice, was a good friend to this person in the short time that I knew them. Long story short, make sure to listen to your gut and make sure to just be very vigilant when it comes to people you're talking to and friends and ciao. Anyways, that's all for the story time. That is the psycho couple from hell. If y'all want more story times just like this, hit the subscribe button, like, and comment down below. And until next time, kisses from me to you.
Missing, kissing you. Now I'm missing, kissing you. Yeah.